right here, and super excited, to share this moment with you. I'm also super excited, to share in my own wealth of experience, with you this evening. It's an amazing day. And like I would always say, when you join sessions like this, be rest assured that you are at the right place. You are also at the right time doing the right things with the right people. Okay, so this is like the right place to be. This is where we get to help you shaping the next 2, 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years, of your life, and also help you to build value for others. All right. So before I move on, I want to first of all ask just a few questions. Just a few questions. So my first question would be, if this is your first time joining any of Nebiant Analytics session, if this is your first time, kindly just quickly go to the chat and type first timer. All right. If this is your first time joining Nebiant Analytics sessions or any of our webinars, kindly type first timer. Just type okay. I'm not sure. Precious is a first timer from what I can see here. Welcome to the call. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but Abdul Hamid. Yes, I'm sure of that. Abdul Hamid is also a first timer. Adikbo Jukoride is also a first timer. So for all my first timers on the call this evening, I will start with, celebrating you guys and giving you your flowers for, joining the session this evening. It's going to be packed. All right. Now, my second and final question before I proceed, second and final question, right, before I proceed is, how many of you joining today, whether as a first timer or an all timer, as the case may be, whether as a first timer or an all timer, how many of you joining the session tonight really dreams of living a life, as a tech bro or a tech sis, where you have the luxury of your time? You in fact have the ability to work for 2 or 3 organizations based on what your capacity can hold. How many of you tonight have that? If you have that idea in mind, you want to just give me a thumbs up, maybe clap, smile at me, use one of the emojis. Okay, Precious is in the same category as myself. Who else? Adepoju, Esther, Abiodun, Abdulhamid. You want to transition into tech, and that's like your interest. That's your interest to transition. Okay, Esther is mentioning that she is a first timer. Welcome, 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 Gladys Matthew. Oh, we're happy to receive you on the call as well. So, my last question, just one person has responded to that question. I expect that we will be enthusiastic in answering that question. Oh, Prince Obona, welcome. Welcome as well. Okay. So, if you are enthusiastic about getting into tech, I want to get into tech. Okay. Maybe you want to give me a thumbs up. Okay. Abdulhamid has said, yes, I am, with a very wonderful emoji. So I want to see more reactions on that. More reactions. Adepoju, fantastic. Okay. So it means that we have people who are in the webinar this evening and are interested in transitioning to tech. Of course, we know that tech, like they say, is the new oil. So I'm just quickly going to be sharing my screen since we have people of like minds together. I mean, we have people that are interested in transitioning to tech. So I'll be sharing my screen so that we can both, just go through a few thought process here and there and see how best we can, make do of the time and the session that we have this evening. Okay. Now, what we are going to be looking at basically today is, are you a Nigerian? And here is your best chance to get into tech yet. Your best chance. Now, you are probably going to be wondering, oh, why this topic for this webinar this evening? The reason is because there are different opportunities, as it were, but not necessarily opportunities, because at the end of the day, you discover that it is either very cumbersome or ambiguous and you're not able to follow through with the procedures. But if you're looking for something very simple, something very easy, if you're looking for something that is also, friendly, where you have the ability, the opportunity to communicate, really pour out your mind at all time, then this is the session for you. Okay, this is the session for you. Abiodun, you are raising your hand. I want to believe that is a thumbs up. You are probably trying to give exactly. So you want to look for the reaction and then share, give a thumbs up instead of raising your hand. All right, to raise your hand is to signify that you have a question that you want to ask. And when the time for question comes, I'll definitely respond and give everyone the opportunity to ask question now. All right. So, like I was saying, I was mentioning being a Nigerian and having the best chance, you are having the best chance to get into tech. Okay. Let me quickly give a background story to how I came up with this topic. I would remember myself some 4 years back, 5 years back, while I was trying to find my way. I would remember that I kept on using Google, YouTube, looking for what I did not misplace. Okay, as it were, looking for information that would speed up my journey. Okay, I would also remember that in the bid to find the right information that will speed up my journey into becoming a tech professional, that I would eventually have to spend about 6 months just looking for information that suits me. Okay, it is one thing to find the information, it's another thing to find something that suits you personally. So I remember that looking for just the right information. Oh, what do I want to do? How do I get started? What do I need to learn? What tools do I need to download on my laptop? Where do I find people that teach this thing, and they make it very simple and easy for me? It took me over 6 months. And if you live in Nigeria, like my topic says, you would agree with me that such information are very, very hard to find. And that's the reason why we are here, this evening, giving you the best chance for you to get into tech, right? So here I am, and this is me, myself, and I. My name is Dafe Samuel. All right. For those that would care to know, I'm from Delta State, Nigeria. Now, I'm the head of the data science department right here at NIGERIAN Analytics. So I'm not just talking, because I know how to talk. I'm talking because I have experience, with what I'm about to share with you. Now, also look at the fact that I have close to 5 years of experience in the tech space. And before I became a data scientist, all right, to the point where I'm heading the data science department, I started as a data analyst, all right? And while being a data analyst, I worked with organizations like Beiersdorf, all right, and also MTN Nigeria. In fact, at MTN Nigeria, I worked as a service fulfillment analyst, all right. Now, I've been able to help and mentor over 3,000 Africans, both personally and thanks to the platform given, with my collaboration with NIGERIAN Analytics over the past 5 years. And guess what? You can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm also a data visualization top voice on LinkedIn. And just like you on the call, and like I mentioned a couple of minutes back, I as well transitioned into tech. And mine is a unique story, okay? Unique in the sense that I studied computer science. But you know how in Nigerian universities, you study computer science, but you write code, exams in coding, in a piece of paper. So the actual experience of computer science was never there. I just crammed, when they in Nigerian universities, there's what they call la cram, la pour. So I basically crammed all the codes that I went to pour down in the exam hall for my lecturer. Well, I came out in flying colors. However, the major experience makes you a computer scientist. I never had it at any point in time. So I was as good as a novice, in computer science. I was as good as a novice to anything related to tech, even after my first degree, because everything I did was basically cramming and pouring for exam. After the 4 walls of exams, I had no memory, no idea of any of the things that I did. So which means because of my interest in tech, I had to start again from scratch, picking myself up, looking for the necessary information, looking for the right materials, the right resources, and the likes to put me where I am today. The good thing, however, is that for you on the call this evening, you don't have to go through the entire stress, that I had to go through. Now, this is about Nibient Analytics. Nibient Analytics is a premium edtech company located here in Nigeria. And our biggest goal, our biggest aim, one of the things that makes Nibient Analytics Nibient, the reason why Nibient was birthed is because we want to ensure that Africans in general are able to get into the tech space, no matter your background, no matter your history, where you are coming from. If tech is your goal and you are an African, you are the person, you are the reason why Nibient Analytics exists. So when you hear premium ed tech programs, premium ed tech courses, you want to think about Nibient Analytics. All right. So, what are the things we are going to be covering today? What are the things we are going to be covering today? First of all, we are going to look at how Esther and so many others transitioned from non-tech roles to tech. Esther is one of our students, one of the participants of our program that transitioned from a non-tech role, into tech. Also, we're going to help you see how you can do the same following their footsteps. And then finally, for those that would stay till the end of this call, we have a special announcement at the end of the session. So if you want to have a glimpse, if you want to have an insight to what my special announcement to you will be, then you want to stay till the end of the call, which is also a period where we have to take questions and answers. All right, so here is Esther. She finished from what? The School of Nursing. And of course, you would agree with me that finishing from the School of Nursing is actually not a bad idea. However, because of the tight schedule, that is being run by nurses and hospitals, and the likes, Esther has thought to herself, why can't I just, take my experience, refine it, instead of being just a traditional nurse, can I refine what I have currently as a nurse and then apply it to something more technical, which is where the idea of what tech came in for Esther. So she wasn't satisfied. She wanted more. What did Esther do? Esther simply joined the Nibient data analytics program. So Navient Analytics, like I mentioned, is a premium ed tech company, and we offer data-centric tech roles. Okay, that's what we train people on, data-centric tech roles. And by data-centric, I mean data analytics, data science, and business analysis. All right, and business analysis. So Esther joined the data analytics program in the month of February. Let us quickly follow the thoughts here and see what happened next. 3 months later, just 3 months later after joining in May, she landed an M&E analyst role working hybrid at what? At Prower. Prower is the name of the organization where Esther landed a role. Now, this is someone that came from what? A nursing background. Joined a program in the month of February, and by the month of May, she landed her first role. Now, let's look at Naomi. We also have Naomi here. Naomi worked in a francophone country as an anglophone, which means she worked in a French-speaking company, all right, in a French-speaking country. And guess what? As it were, she was being relegated. Now, one of the reasons why Naomi would be relegated was because she wanted much more. And you know how you come to your organization and you want them to offer you more. And first of all, resignation letter was rejected and she was being relegated. Now, so she decided that she wants to work remotely. Naomi wants to work remotely. All right. What did she do? Naomi joined the Nigerian Analytics Business Analysis Program early this year. She joined the Business Analysis Program early this year. Now, what happened next? Fast forward to March this year, 2025, her company, the same company that relegated her, they noticed her presence on LinkedIn, which means one of the things that we train people to do is to be loud on whatever you are learning on LinkedIn. Okay, be very, very loud. Oh, I'm learning to build. Oh, I just built this dashboard. Go there and talk about it. Oh, I just learned process mapping as a business analyst. Rather, I was able to apply my knowledge to help, let's say XYZ company to solve a problem. You know, we completed a project and all of that. Keep saying everything that you do. Now, this same strategy was what Naomi applied. The same organization she worked at that relegated her noticed all the impact she has been making and everything she's been talking about on LinkedIn, all right? And they saw that she was actively upskilling with Navient. Guess what happened next? They offered to create a new department and have her to be what? The head of that department. Okay, and a department that never existed in the organization. They made her to become the head of the department. Now, one of the major questions you are going to be asking is this whole idea of data, this whole idea of tech, all right? Do we really have jobs? And I can tell you for free that as I speak to you, there are about 35,000 global opportunities, global openings, globally, all right, on LinkedIn across data alone. And by when I say across data, I mean data analytics, business analysis, data science, over 35,000 roles. But guess what? Some of us, we just dream of landing these jobs. We don't have it yet. Okay, we dream of landing these jobs, but we still don't have it here. By the way, I would want to take a pause at this point. If you have followed me to this point, there are two things I will be requiring you to do. Number one is to make sure that you go right into the chat section for this call. The chat section for this call, there is a form, okay? There is a link that is there, that is being placed there by my colleague. on the call. The essence or the reason why I would advise you to click on that link and fill the form that comes up after is simply because, number one, I would want you to have, my slides for this session. And it is only to those that register by filling the form from that link that would get to have the copy of my slide after this session. That's one. Secondly, we would also be sending across the full recording for this session, with you. We'll be sharing the full recording for the session directly to your mail. But like I said, it is only those that fills the form, all right, that would have access to these materials. So if you have heard me so far, if you have followed me up until this point, you want to maybe give me a thumbs up so that I'm sure that we are all together. Okay, Precious. Okay, thank you very much. Henry, thank you very much. All right. We have more people on the call, more people at Depoju. Fantastic. Okay. Gladys, William Anthony, Habib, Sheil, Adam, Prince, Ogbona. We're still waiting. Okay, the form is right in the chat section where you are texting from William Anthony. All right, so you probably want to scroll up again, and I'm sure my colleague will be posting the link again. So please make sure to follow up on that. All right. Now, why is it that I, for example, have been able to work with Bayersdorf and MTN Nigeria as a data analyst? I'm currently working as the head of department here at NIGERIAN Analytics, but there are some of us on this call, in this session, who dream of these things, but they've not been able to get them done. All right, they've not been able to achieve that goal. We said there are 4 things you lack. All right, there are 4 things you lack. Number 1 is what? Pro-level Excel skills. Pro-level Excel skills. And I'll tell you for free, with my level of experience, at least I can say over 60 to 70% of organizations that would employ you as a data analyst, okay, would majorly rely on Microsoft Excel for most of their processes and procedures. All right. So if you don't have pro-level Excel skills, I'm not talking about add cell A1 plus A2 equals to A3. That's not what I'm talking about. Pro-level, advanced level Microsoft Excel skills. That's what we're talking about here. Number 2 is that you do not have, as of now, what is called a project portfolio. And I'm going to show you what that is. All right. I'm going to show you what that is just immediately after now. And we'll also do some expansion on some of these things I'm talking about. Number 3, personal brand and visibility. So for those of you that have followed me so far, you would remember what I mentioned about Naomi, how a new department was crafted for her in a company because of what she was doing where? On LinkedIn. So that visibility is also part of the tools that you should have, if you are looking to land a role in tech. And then number 4 is what? The proper mentorship. So if you don't have any of these, well, like I said in the beginning of the session, you are at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people. All right. So we are looking at how to equip you with all of these 4. Okay. Number 1 is pro-level Excel skills. Number 2 is a project portfolio. Number 3 is a personal brand visibility. And number 4 is what? Mentorship. Okay. So what's the road to landing a job from applying? So, I mean, from the point where I'm applying for this role to the point where I am landing the job, what do I need? What is the roadmap? What's the pathway to achieving this? What's the pathway? What's the roadmap from applying to landing a job? So I'm going to be showing you a number of things. Okay, I'm going to be showing you a number of things. So just stay with me. Stay with me and follow through as I continue. So the first thing that you should do is to apply for the role. Okay. Now, but when you apply for the role, there is something that is called ATS. What is ATS? ATS is an AI. Okay. It's an AI service that scans through applications, especially your CV. Now, for most company, some of us, we apply, but actually the company who is employing for that role, they don't get to see our resume or CV that we shared or that we sent. Why is that so? ATS usually goes through a level of screening. When your resume or your CV is being screened, there is a score, a benchmark that every CV should get from screening before it is being transferred to the real human resource manager. So in most cases, some of us fail to land a job from the ATS process. Why? If you don't meet the benchmark, different organizations might have different scores that they are looking at. All right, it's more like JAM score. But when you submit your CV, it goes through ATS first. All right. If you pass this ATS screening, that is when the real human resource manager gets to see and most likely calls you for an interview. So sometimes one of the things we are missing in our CV and resume is the fact that you may have applied multiple times, but the question is, are you really passing this stage? Are you really passing that stage? So look at that. We said over 95% of CVs are rejected. Over 95%. And why is that so? Because from application, it must go through this AI model. From this AI model, then it goes to the human resource manager. So, look at this. Only 5 of 100 CVs gets looked at by the actual humans. So the rest 95, ATS has already screened them and has given a verdict that they are not qualified enough, to get to the human resource manager. So that's one of the things you want to look out for. Now, the question is, from applying to this part to being invited for an interview, you notice that from here we had like 100 CVs, and then at this point it became 5. By the time this man, all right, or this woman who is the human resource manager gets to look at the CV, chances are that out of 5, only 2 will be, invited for the interview. Only 2 will be invited. If 2 are invited or 3 are invited, okay, how many people would get the job? Just 1 person gets the offer. So this already paints a picture in your mind of how or why it has been difficult for you to land a role. Why it has been difficult for you to land a role. And like I mentioned, most people end up at the ATS screening level. At the ATS screening level. So why? Why is that so? Now, if you remember in the beginning, I mentioned that you need pro-level Microsoft Excel skills. So why are you going through this? Why are you learning pro-level Microsoft Excel skills? Number 1 is because it is easy to learn. Number 2 is because data in itself is a field that is easy to transition into. Well, for those that are just joining us, I gave a statistic the other time, and I mentioned that over 35,000 openings exist in the data field as far as LinkedIn is concerned. So on LinkedIn alone, you have over 35,000 openings on data, business analysis, data analytics, data science. So it is easy to learn, it is easy to transition, and you have great salary projections. All right. Transitioning to tech, transitioning to becoming a data professional gives you these 3 things. And if you remember, I told you about gaining information online, and not just about gaining information, but gaining information that will be useful to you, that meets your own needs personally. All right. And if these 3 bullet points that I have here does not meet your need, maybe you are not the person I'm talking to. But if you are looking for a tech skill that is easy to learn, if you're looking for something that is easy to transition, which means just like Esther moving from being a nurse to becoming a data analyst, you can easily transition from whatever background you are in, okay? And then you're looking at great salary projections, then this is the right place for you. Now, guess what? In order for you to achieve everything that we have mentioned, and let me just quickly go through. I mentioned pro level Excel skills. I mentioned visibility, all right, personal brand visibility. I also mentioned revamping CV to ensure that you pass the ATS screening when you are applying to the role. I also mentioned the fact that the reason why you should look towards getting skilled as a data professional is because it is easy to learn, easy to transition, and it has great salary projection. Now, for you to be able to find yourself in that situation where you have the requisite skills, all right, that puts you in the position to land a job from whatever background you are. Okay, we have crafted out a 4 weeks training where you get everything from pro data skills to mentorship. And I mean everything you need, starting from pro Excel skills. And I mean, the training is not just starting from pro Excel skills, like they're going to start teaching you from a professional aspect. We're going to take it, bit by bit. So we're taking it from amateur to pro level within these 4 weeks so that you are able to come up with, your portfolio, a very eye-catchy portfolio that convinces any potential employer that you are actually fit and ready for the job. So we are going to be having a 4 weeks intensive, okay, training where you get everything to be learned. Now, just to give you a glimpse of what it looks like. For the first week, you're going to be learning this and you're going to be building this. Guess what? This was done with Microsoft Excel. This was done with what? Microsoft Excel. And how are you going to achieve this? From raw data set to interactive dashboard. From raw data set, when they give you data, what looks like ordinary numbers and alphabets, how can I transform raw numbers, raw letters, okay, into something that makes sense? I mean, how many of you love what you are seeing on your screen already? If you like what you are seeing on your screen, thank you very much. Okay, fantastic. I love the reactions coming in. I love the reactions coming in already. If you love what you are seeing from the screen, yeah. Now, this can be you. Trust me. This can be you. This can be you. You don't have to wait for much longer. Okay? This can be you applying pro-level Excel skills to achieving what we have here. That's for the first week, right? For the second week, we're looking at what is called a human resource attrition dashboard. Okay? Human resource attrition. All right? Now, what this does basically, by the time we look at interpretation, is okay, what is the demography of our personnel, the members of staff of a particular company? How many have we hired altogether? How many have stayed so far? How many have attrited, which means how many have maybe resigned or they were fired or they stopped working for some reason? You're looking at attrition rates, everything from raw data sets to the interactive dashboard. You are going to be looking at how, to complete these projects. And I mean, these two projects that we have, both for week 1, all right, both for week 1, which is a sales report, a big store report dashboard, and also the human resource attrition report, both for week 1 and week 2. These are like the hottest topic, okay, in the data space. These are the hottest topic in the data space. People want to weigh your level of skill. So in trying to weigh your level of skill, these are some of the things that they look at, in trying to weigh your level of skill. So that's for week 2. Now, in week 3, we're going to be looking at two things. Number one is called an AI-powered CV. So if you remember a couple of minutes back, I was talking about ATS and how some people, their CV gets scrapped at the level of screening by ATS. So we're going to be looking at how to write your CV to ensure that even the AI would give you a pass mark. Why? Because we have applied what is called an AI-powered CV. Then, aside that, the next thing we're going to be looking at is portfolio creation. So permit me to take a digress for a bit, not necessarily digressing, but I want to show you what a portfolio, okay, looks like. So permit me to quickly go off my slide and show you what a portfolio looks like. So here, what we have loading on the screen is my personal portfolio. Okay, this is my personal portfolio. Okay, so let's hold on for a minute for it to load. Now, why do you need a portfolio as a tech professional? I mean, I've already submitted my CV. It is AI powered. It has passed ATS. However, do you know, or have you ever thought of the fact, pardon me, have you ever thought of the fact that your CV is a document? What you have in your CV, they are things that were written, okay, typed as it were. But how exactly do you think the person employing, maybe the HR manager or the employer, is going to validate, verify those things that you have written in your CV? Where did you do it? How can we see where you did it? Just to verify that, okay, those things that you wrote in your CV, all right, they are actual facts. They are projects that you have actually worked on by yourself. That is the essence of having a portfolio. It's like a personal website where everything about you is shared. Everything about your skills, everything about your experience, everything about the project you have done is shared. So it has gone beyond writing things in your CV. After writing, prove to me that you have actually done this thing. That's the essence of having a portfolio. And I mean, look at how eye-catching this is. I have a section where I discussed about myself, all right, a brief overview of myself. And then here I'm looking at my skills and core competencies. My core skills, what I can do: data analysis, machine learning, data visualization, predictive analysis, and the likes. The tech stack, what are the tools that I use as a tech professional? Python, SQL, Microsoft Excel, Tableau, Power BI, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, you can name it, as it relates to data analytics and data science. Now, once I'm done here, if I click view my portfolio button, then it takes me to the next slide, or the next page rather, where everything that I have actually done is, present, has been stored. So once I'm applying for a job, I'm not only sending CV to the HR professional, I'm sending both CV and list of projects. So you can see different projects ranging from Tableau to Power BI to the exploratory data analysis with Python to machine learning, everything. These are projects that I have worked on, personally. Now, so it means that I'm not just sending CVs to everybody anytime I see any job opening. I'm sending both the CV, which is a written detail about what I can do, and then I'm sending my portfolio, which is a proof that actually those things that I have written, I have actually done them as well. So now imagine that in your portfolio, as a tech professional, you have my week 1 project in that same portfolio and my week 2 project in this same portfolio. Imagine the level of professionalism and the level of attraction you are going to get. Okay, so these are some of the things that I mentioned before are the reasons why most people do not land a job. So after helping you tailor your CV, we're also going to look at how to create the portfolio, just like my own. And if you are better at design than myself, I mean, you can do a lot more better. Then finally, for week 4, during the 4 weeks intensive training, what we are basically looking at is personal branding. Okay, visibility on LinkedIn, just like Naomi that got a new department crafted out for her because of what she was doing on LinkedIn. And guess what? If her department or if her company were not able to seize the opportunity to tie her down with her skill by creating a new department and asking her to head the department, the same way they saw everything she has been doing on LinkedIn, other companies, other organizations are also seeing the impact, and the projects she's been working on. So chances are that if they didn't do it, some other organization would have done it as well. Okay, so we're looking at LinkedIn optimization. We're looking at helping you to build your brand visibility on LinkedIn and also mentorship from global tech professionals. All right, mentorship from global tech professionals. So these are the things that we'll be covering for the 4 weeks program. Now we have a bonus. There is just a bonus for you. We have free 1 month access. And this is going to be specifically to those that get into class for the 4 weeks training. Free 1 month access to 200 plus projects, which means we're looking at projects for the next 1 month. And in the project bank, you have over 200 projects that you can work on personally. And this is exclusively free. So if you are jealous of me, for example, that has more than 2, more than 3, more than 4 projects in my portfolio, okay, you may want to seize this to look at 200 projects that you can also quickly work on to populate your portfolio and ensure that you have, something worth your while to put in your portfolio when applying for a role. Okay. Now, what I have basically here are some of the portfolios and projects for some of our students, okay, right here at NIGERIAN Analytics. And I mean, if you remember, I mentioned to fill the form from the link in the chat. You can just click and view any of these projects and any of these portfolios that we have from our students at NIGERIAN Analytics. And you can see multiple projects to be done, multiple projects that you can also copy. Now, at this point, I'm just basically going to show you 1 or 2 more testimonials for some of our previous students and what they have had to say concerning the program, with NIGERIAN Analytics. Okay, so here we have Ugochi. Ugochi was out of the corporate space for a while becoming a mom. Okay, so during the period where she was becoming a mom, she decided she wants to get back into the workforce, but not starting all over again. She doesn't want to start, afresh from the beginning. What did she do? She joined a business analysis program in February 2025. Business analysis program in February 2025. Now, what happened after that? By June, 1 month after, okay, her training. So she did her training from February, March, April, May. In June, which is a month after her training, she got a role as a business analyst at Mayrite Consulting. You may want to look up that company just to verify. At Mayrite Consulting, she became the business analyst in that organization. When did she start? She started in February. By June, she landed a role. Okay, let's look at Mary right here. We have Mary right here. Let's listen to Mary's story. She saw Nebiant on Instagram. It matched her needs in terms of remote work. So there has to be something you're looking for. Okay, it matched her needs. Now, Mary joined Nebiant Analytics data analytics program in what, December of 2024, which was last year. In May of 2025, so she joined in December. In May of 2025, she got an internship at Soronko Foundation. This is in Ghana. She now got a paid 6-month contract after that, with what, a long-term contract to follow. She said the CV we gave her stood her out of what, 3,000 plus applicants. So 3,000 plus applicants applied for the internship. Mary was selected. After the period of internship, Mary was given another 6-month contract role with the same foundation. After that 6-month contract role, she now got what, a long-term contract. And this is the same role that over 3,000 people applied for or applied to. All right. Please, you can request for, the material. Just click the link in the chat and fill the form so that you would see this thing, listen. There are videos attached to some of these things so you can watch and also follow. Now, this is Oluwaseun right here. Oluwaseun used to work in a microfinance bank as a risk officer. And I remember Oluwaseun very, very vividly. He met me at a physical event in August 2024. Nebiant Analytics, had an event in August 2024, a physical event on the island. That was where we met Oluwaseun. Now, what happened there was that he decided to join the business analysis program as a business analyst. And since then, he has gotten several contracts, okay, on what, business analysis gigs. And now, currently, he works with Your Innovations Plug as a business analyst. So these are, a lot of testimonials that we have shared. Here we have Grace, Lebora, Uduak, Helen, different people that we have looked at, that we have worked with, that we have trained, that we have mentored over the past, programs that we have had as a company. And these are not just stories. You can, if you want to verify, it's okay to just fill the link, get this material and verify by yourself. Click on the link, fill the form, get the materials and verify this information by yourself. Now, guess what? I mentioned that we have a 4 weeks intensive training coming up where we have packed all of this value. If you are not impressed with Microsoft Excel, the portfolio creation, the CV revamping, the LinkedIn optimization and visibility classes, you should at least also look at the fact that for that 1 month, you have a repository, a bank of 200 plus projects that you can also work on and populate your CV and your portfolio. So it's value packed in 1 month. Now, for that 1 month, the classes will be holding every Saturdays by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So what we have to cover for week 1, the sales report, the HR attrition report, the LinkedIn optimization, AI-powered CV, and also the mentorship session, we'll take it week in, week out, all right? And the major class holds on Saturdays, all right, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, and it is instructor-led, which means the same way I'm on the call, explaining to you, walking you through each of my slides one after the other. And I'm sure you may want to clap for me because I believe I'm an excellent facilitator. All right, that's the same way you are going to have your instructor, walk you through each of the projects in class. Thank you very much for those clapping for me. For those that are not clapping, they're probably beefing my skill and professionalism, but it's okay. You may want to register for extra classes so that I can teach you how to go through presentations as well. Okay, so you would gain access to our learning platforms. We use Google Classroom, and we also have an LMS, a learning management system, all right, where you can learn from. So both Google Classroom and this LMS rather, where you have all our videos. Oh, we are learning Microsoft Excel. There is a pre-recorded video. Aside the video for your instructor, the one your instructor is working with you in a live session, we also have pre-recorded videos that you can also watch to give you perspective on what you are going to learn with your instructor. Now, let me quickly tie this up so that we can round off. Right here, you can have the full course brochure, which means the course outline and curriculum, everything that you are going to be learning for that 1 month. And there you can also, like I mentioned earlier, look at all the portfolios of all our students, the portfolio they created that landed them a job. Okay, you can imagine creating a portfolio and sending it back to us. That shows you the level of confidence that you have in the job that we have done, for you to be able to even respond back and send back to us what you did. Okay, so you can fill the form and get the materials, go through these things. I'm sure you are going to be amazed, even much more than the explanations and everything that I have said. How to join our next class? Well, the next class will be starting on the 6th of September 2025. The 6th of September. That's when the next cohort for the 4 weeks intensive training will be starting. That will be starting on the 6th of September 2025. Okay, 6th of September. All right. So yeah, this is the actual price for the session. 80,000. So imagine the fact that everything I have mentioned, everything I've said, the portfolio, the CV, everything, the projects, sorry, excuse me, is meant to go for 80,000 naira. But guess what? I am giving you my word 100% that for those that are willing to register for the September class, starting on the 6th of September, I am giving you a whopping 50% discount. Okay, this means you are going to be paying 40,000 naira for the program, but it has to be for those who are willing to book in and lock down a slot tonight. Okay, if you are willing to lock down a slot, give you the access to everything that I have mentioned so far, it's only going to go for a discounted price of 40,000. So imagine you are building 2 Excel projects, you are building your portfolio, you are optimizing your CV, you also have access to a bank of projects that has 200 plus projects, all going for 40,000 naira instead of 80,000 naira. I mean, that's an amazing discount. If I had this opportunity in my first 6 months of looking for information and finding my way out, I'm not even going to think about it twice. Why? Because just like every other student, okay, that we have mentioned, I mean, whoever must have paid 40,000 to get trained definitely will not be thinking about 40,000 anymore. Now they're counting revenue, they're counting salaries, they're counting money coming in from contracts and gigs, no longer thinking about the amount they paid and the investment they made or the sacrifices they needed to make to get the skills and the necessary materials. Okay, so this for direct transfer, if you are locking down a spot right here and right now, you can quickly run a direct transfer. You can also reach out to me. Once you have done that, so that we can verify payments, payments, receipts, and the likes, and then we'll get you started. My number is 081 620 556. That's my WhatsApp number. Please, WhatsApp only, to lock down a spot, to lock down. So please, if you are taking this right here and right now, you want to quickly send me a message on that number, so that I know those that are locking down their spot and taking up this juicy offer tonight. After tonight, I'm sorry, this offer closes. After tonight, I'm sorry, this offer closes. So you want to secure your slot tonight for 40,000 naira. This is also our COO in person of Muhammad. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me, you can also reach out to Muhammad with that number. He's the Chief Operating Officer, the COO here at NIGERIAN Analytics. Okay, so that's about the payment information. Now, I think before I move, I want to know who is locking down a slot. Abdulhamid, Adekboju, Precious. You may want to ask a question or two concerning all that has been said so far. So anybody has a question to ask, who is locking down a slot, who is texting me on WhatsApp, just to share payment receipts and ask maybe a few more questions that you might need clarity here and there, and I'll definitely be responding to your messages. Okay, Esther, Prince Obona, I have you on the call. Faith. Okay, Vivian. All right, you can unmute your mic and speak, please. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Thanks
Good
very
evening.
much for the presentation.
You're welcome.
My question is that you spoke only about Excel, so are we concentrating just on Excel or other tools that they use for data analysis?
Fantastic. Now, thank you very much for that question. Now, for the 4 weeks program, we are concentrating on Microsoft Excel. However, from the bank of projects that we have that has the 200 plus projects in it, you have projects that covers other tools. So technically in class, the facilitator is walking you through the Microsoft Excel projects. Okay, then from the project bank that we have, you can have other projects. However, you should also remember that the 200 plus projects that we have in that bank would only last for 1 month before access is revoked. So Microsoft Excel in class, then you can go through other projects from the project bank that we have. Okay, and everything at the end of the day still goes for 40,000. Now, NIGERIAN Analytics, actually, we also have another program that opens you up to everything. I mean, instead of just Microsoft Excel and 200 plus projects, we are looking at Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, okay, Tableau, and 200 plus projects as well. Okay, but like I said, you want to get started. How long is the training? The training is for 4 weeks, 1 month. 4 weeks, 1 month only. William Anthony, I hope that has answered your question. So we're saying, okay, I want to just get started with this thing from a pro level. I don't want to get started and then I'm struggling for 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, thereabout. Something that I can have now and can land me a role with all the necessary documents, all the necessary materials that I need, CV, portfolio with projects, and every other thing. That is the essence for this training that is coming up for 4 weeks. Okay, William Anthony says, let me quickly go back to that question. After learning, how do I get a job? Fantastic. There is a slide where we treated that question. If I may quickly go back to that, we mentioned applying. Okay, but then when you are applying, the question is, what are you applying with? You are applying with your CV. The question is, the CV you have currently, do you think it passes or it crosses the ATS, okay, the ATS screening that I mentioned earlier? Do you think the CV you have crosses the ATS screening that I mentioned earlier? The answer is maybe no. If the answer is no, then you want to work with us as we walk you through, as we walk you through how to generate or create an AI-powered CV that helps you to gain the attention of your potential employers. Now, aside that, to support your CV and everything that is being written in the CV, I mentioned that a portfolio helps to tell much more about it, helps to tell much more, gives verification to everything that you have in the CV. So when I'm going to apply with my CV, I should also have my portfolio. As a matter of fact, some companies that want to employ tech professionals will request for a LinkedIn, what's the word now, profile. Share your LinkedIn profile. Why is that? Most of them want to see what you have been talking about. They want to see how interested, how truly interested you are in what you said you are doing. Sometimes they want to see, have you been able to solve any problem? Have you talked about maybe some of the problems you have solved in the past? These are some of the things that, helps you to actually land a job. Okay, so I hope I've been able to answer that question there, William. I hope I've been able to answer that question. So do we have more questions coming in? Who are those that are booking down a slot with us for 40,000 naira only? Only. There are some persons on this call I've not heard their voice, from the beginning, and I would love to hear your voice. I would love to hear your voice. Precious, Esther, Prince, do you want to unmute your mic and share a word or two? You have something, maybe something that is the reason why you have not signified to book in a slot. You want to maybe share. We could just quickly get into a short conversation right here and right now and see how we can help you get started immediately. Immediately. Yes, Adepoju. Prince, Esther, Precious, Vivian.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for the privilege, sir.
Okay, please go ahead. You're welcome.
Please, I want to ask two questions. Number one, apart from the
Okay.
1 month, is there any other space apart from the 1 month, 1 month that started from the 6th of September? Apart from it, is there any other training you will have after that? Then
Okay.
secondly,
Okay.
if we cannot hold down the slot with 40,000, is there any discount that can also be given?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. So basically, right, I'll start with the first question. Is there any other training if you miss out on this 40,000? Well, I will start with sharing my wish. I don't wish, okay, that you miss out on this training, because in itself, this is like the most subsidized training that you can have out there. Okay. Now, this particular training is a one-off training. You know how that every organization from January to December, there is always a period when they feel like, let's do something for the people. There are a lot of people that wants to get into this space. Okay, there are a lot of persons who wants to get into this space. Some of you have been battling with gaining the right information. Some even have the right information, but maybe the cash to get started is the problem. Some people are thinking, how exactly do I even get started? So that's the essence for this training. It's a one-off thing. It's not a continuous training. The continuous training that Nigerian Analytics has is actually going for 250,000 naira. That is the one that lasts for 3 months, where we teach you Microsoft Excel, Power BI, and every other thing that I mentioned. So if that is maybe too far-fetched, this is like the easiest entrance. If you remember the beginning, I started with how soon, how easy can I make it to get into tech? What's the easiest means? What's the cheapest? As a matter of fact, let me also include that. What's the cheapest means? So for me, trust me, you can go out there and check, but you know that when you are going out to check, my discount ends tonight. My discount ends tonight. All right. If you are going back, if you are going and you want to come back later, you will not definitely have access to this. All right. If you say you want to go and confirm and check and come back, once it exceeds tonight, this offer will be closed. All right. That's one. Your second question about, sorry, kindly remind me the second question again. If you're not able to, okay, I think I've even answered that question. If you're not able to lock down the slot for tonight, well, my response to that is that the discount and this offer can only last for tonight. If there's any other thing extra that you want to talk to me about, well, you may, I'll give you the opportunity to unmute your mic again and speak to me. Let me get to hear from you if there is any other thing you wish to share. But aside that, the offer actually ends tonight. So Esther, please, good evening. Your hand is up. Let's hear from you. Kindly unmute your mic and speak.
Hello, good evening, sir. Mr. Mohammed.
Yes, good evening.
Please, will there be certificates at the end of the program? Will
Will there be what?
Issuing of certificates
Yes,
at the end
definitely.
of the
You will
program?
get. Yes, you will get a certificate at the end of the program. Definitely.
All right.
Okay. So are you booking your slot?
Your slot.
Your hand
Your
is
hand
still up.
is still up.
Hi, Aminat.
Hi,
Do you
Aminat.
want to
Do you
speak?
want to speak?
Unmute your mic
Unmute your mic.
mute your mic for now,
Mute your mic for
Aminat,
now.
while I complete the conversation with Esther. Okay, thank you very much, Esther. So, is there any other question? Do you want to ask another question? Your hand is still up, Esther. All right. So I want to take it that. Okay. So I want to take it that now that your question about getting a certificate has been answered, Esther, we are looking at having you on board. You are booking your slot tonight. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Welcome on board, Esther. Welcome on board. Okay. Precious says, please, what are the times for the classes again? You missed that earlier. Fantastic. So the time for the class will be the live session with your facilitator. The live session with your facilitator, where the end-to-end project is going to be, worked on, usually will take place on Saturdays by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., just 3 hours, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the end of that, you get a full video recording of that session as well. And then you also get access to our LMS where you get to watch pre-recorded video before that session. Okay, Precious, I hope that was able to answer your question, Precious. Aminat, your mic is unmuted. Do you want to speak?
No, I'm not speaking. I'm not
Okay,
speaking.
kindly mute.
I've,
All right.
yes.
Thank you. Kindly mute your mic, please. Okay, fantastic. All right, Precious, fantastic. So now that that has answered your question, I hope that I'm expecting to have you in class as well. So I've not heard from Vivian, if I'm correct. Adepoju has been quiet, and I believe you started this session with me. That basically tells me that you're interested, but you're probably thinking about something. Abdulhamid also started this session with me, but I've not heard, from you. So you want to probably unmute your mic and just share one or two things. What is probably the delay, in locking down a slot for the session? What is the delay in locking down a slot for the session? So yeah, for those that have made a payment and have booked their slot, you can send a proof of payment to my WhatsApp number over there. Yes, Adepoju, Vivian, do you have questions? Do you have reservation? There's probably something you're thinking about. Maybe it's the reason why you have not booked your slot. I mean, staying all the way till this time means that you were able to gain value from all that has been said. Okay? But much more than gaining value from all that has been said this evening, you want to actually get into class and get the requisite skills, the required skills that will land you, a job in tech. So do you want to share something with me, Adepoju? I mean, you can unmute your mic and speak with me. I have Abdulhamid as well. I've not heard from you. Vivian, I've not heard from you. Ibrahim Mohammed, I've not heard from you as well. So do you want to say something, ask a question before we shut down in the next couple of minutes? Yes, 40,000 is going by tonight. 40,000 for everything that I have mentioned from the beginning of the session is going for tonight. We have quite a number of persons. 2, 3, 4 persons have already dropped messages, and I will be attending to that immediately after I'm done with this session. So you may also want to drop a message, you may want to text me, you may want to send in your proof of payment so I know that, okay, you've made payment for the session and we go ahead, to onboarding you for the beginning of the program on the 6th of September. Adepoju, can you hear me? Ibrahim Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Are you booking in a slot already?
Actually, I'm just joining, so I missed part of the major part of the program.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just joined
Okay,
some bits back.
so here is what you can do, and here's how I can help you. because you're just joining, there is a link that is being shared in the chat. There's a link that is being shared in the chat. When you feel that link, maybe I should just copy it and paste again. When you feel, click on that link and just fill the form there. Okay, what happens is that from there you get a video recording for everything that has been shared during the session. Okay, then you would also get a copy of my slide for tonight's session. Okay, you would also get a copy of my slide exactly for tonight's session. However, a brief overview is that we have a 40K 4 weeks intensive training, and the 4 weeks intensive training is meant to go for 80,000. However, we're giving a discount of 40,000 for those that book a slot tonight. Now, what does the training entail? I'll just quickly walk you through some of the things that we want to cover for the training. Yeah, I'll just quickly walk you through that. So the first thing is for week 1, we're looking at building this project from start to finish, from raw data set to interactive dashboard. Give me raw data set. We convert that raw data set into this end project, okay, that can be submitted to stakeholders. That's for first week. For the second week of the training, right, we are working on these other projects, HR attrition report. We're working on this project from raw data set to interactive dashboard, which means from the beginning of the project, okay, from the beginning of the project, here we have the data set. From this ordinary data, how did we convert this data into this dashboard? That's what we're going to be treating for week 1, right? Now, for week 2, the same thing. How did we convert from raw data? This is just numbers and letters that I can see. How did we move from here to here? The complete project using Microsoft Excel would also be treated in week 2, right? In week 2 of the training. Now, week 3, we're looking at AI-powered CV and portfolio creation. For those that were on the call earlier, I showed my own portfolio here. This is my own portfolio that carries all the projects that I have worked on personally. So while I'm sending CV to my employers, I'm also sharing this as a proof, a personal website that shows a proof of everything that I said I can do or everything I said I did in my CV. This is where my future employer gets to see and have an overview, okay? Have an overview of everything that I have done, okay? So we're looking at that in week 3 of the training. And in week 4 of the training, you are going to be getting LinkedIn profile optimization and mentorship from global tech professionals. Now, all of this has been packed alongside a bonus of 1 month free access for the period of that training, that 4 weeks. You have 1 month free access to 200 plus projects, okay, via one of our partner platforms. So you have room for 200 plus projects, but it's only going to last for the period of that 1 month. Now, the cost for all of this is what I displayed earlier, is meant to be 80,000. However, for this night, gaining access and booking a slot to that section for this night will be 40,000 naira. All right, Mohammed Ibrahim, I believe you got that.
Yes, I got it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So first
Yes,
of all,
thanks
make sure
for
to click the link and fill the form so you get the full recording. And then
Okay.
if this is something that works for you,
Oh,
you can also make direct transfer and share your receipt to the number on your screen. Okay, Share your
Okay.
receipt to
All
the
right.
number on your screen. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So don't forget that this offer lasts for only this night. This night. Okay?
Okay.
Last for this night. So, guys, this is where I will be calling it a day. Like I mentioned, I would need some extra time to attend to some of the messages that have already come in from the session this evening. However, just 1 second. I can still see Precious, Esther, okay, and Wale Ogunshola on the call. Please, whatever you do, okay, I know it's a bit probably difficult, okay, to find your way into tech. And we have decided to craft the easiest way for you to get this done, okay? If you miss out on this, you may not get such offer from Nebiant Analytics again. So you want to book your slot for this session to get started on the 6th of September. When you're done, you can share receipts and also verification of payment. You can share to the number on your screen. You can also share to my personal number that has been shared earlier. Okay, that will be all from me for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Esther, I look forward to speaking with you and continuing our conversation. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Cheers.